Well, before we go on with what we were trying to go on and on about before we were interrupted, now there's a new wrinkle in this wide world of wrestling, Brian. We have just been talking about earlier in the show the very first experimental television broadcasts of pro wrestling in the United States in 1940, to where the technology existed that they were doing it, but it just nobody could see it because they didn't have the screens. 85 years later, every son of a bitch in this country has 4 or 5 screens. And now they're going to be broadcasting the big wrestling shows on a technology or a service that technically doesn't even exist yet. The WWE is now going to be on a service that the premium live events, pay-per-views, as we say, are not going to be on the cock. They're going to be on a service that ESPN is launching later on, sometime this month. And we're going to all have to subscribe to that to see these premium live events now. I just said it's getting harder to watch wrestling, both because the shows are harder to watch and because how are you supposed to find all these fucking things? This service does not even exist yet. Am I exaggerating about this?
Well, this is a service ESPN will be launching, and like anyone who knows anything about launching new platforms and new formats of home entertainment, wrestling fans are usually the people you can count on to be there, and ESPN is banking on WWE bringing people into their service for a very high price, $29.99 a month. It's a lot more than Peacock. It's a lot more than WWE Network. A lot more than Netflix. I think it's maybe all 3 of those combined, actually. And I have a headline here from the Wall Street Journal. Disney paying $1.6 billion for WWE rights. ESPN unit will stream WrestleMania and other major offerings for 5 years. Disney's ESPN and TKO Group's World Wrestling Entertainment have reached a more than $1.6 billion agreement that will give the sports media company exclusive rights to many of WWE's high-profile events. The 5-year deal, which will begin in 2026, includes the U.S. streaming rights to major events, including WrestleMania and SummerSlam. ESPN will pay $325 million a year
Jesus.
for the rights, according to people familiar with the matter. That is a significant increase from WWE's current 5-year deal with Peacock, which was valued at $900 million, according to people familiar with the pact. The new agreement with ESPN follows a 10-year deal the WWE struck with Netflix last year for its weekly show Raw, valued at more than $5 billion. Raw has become a solid performer for the streamer. The events will be available on ESPN's new streaming service, which is slated to debut this fall at a price tag of $29.99 a month. Under the deal, select coverage will be simulcast on ESPN's cable channels. So why don't we stop there? There's a lot to break
yes,
down.
Please do.
And
what would you like to break down about the fact that, again, they're making billions and billions of dollars, but how many different things do we have to find and follow to see all this shit? And you said something wrong, Brian. It's $29.99 a month, but I saw if you sign up for the whole year, it's only $300.
Oh, what a great deal.
But here's the thing, and I'll let you say what you was going to say, but people were mad at me when I was trying to order the pay-per-view, like God intended. Pay-per-view television, big event, cable remote, easy to do, whatever the fuck. You're paying $60 a month. Well, actually, it's $50, I think. But you're paying $50 a month when you can stream it on this and that and the other thing. And why are you wasting all that money? You're just crazy. Because normally you could see all the goddamn wrestling TV shows on television. Which even if you're paying for TBS, you've got a 400 fucking cable channels. So how much are you really paying for TBS? But you buy one pay-per-view once a month and you get to fast forward and rewind and DVR it and do all the things. And it's easy to watch and you don't have to fuck with the streaming. And my time is valuable to me. And if I can save an hour searching through the goddamn endless travelogues and advertisements and entrances, then it's worth the $50. But now, do we still need Netflix, Brian? We're going to need Netflix for Raw.
Well, I still have Netflix for other things beyond wrestling, but yeah, Raw will be there for 10 years.
Well, see, that's the thing is, this is starting to be, I would not have Netflix if it wasn't Raw wasn't on it. I would not have this goddamn thing that I'm apparently going to have if the pay-per-views weren't on it. How many different things are we going to have to $20 and $30 ourselves to death on to see all this shit?
Well, see, that's the thing that to me is most interesting. You know, WWE getting a big deal with someone trying to make it in streaming, that's not a surprise. That's where you're going to get the money nowadays. But the idea that ESPN is launching this service at $30 a month, which is significantly more than just about every streaming service now or in the past. Not that there aren't some that are above that, but by and large, nothing major. The plan is wrestling fans have gotten used to streaming their pay-per-view events. Pay-per-view's dead. Not even just because no one does it. Literally, in demand is dead. Some listeners sent over emails they got saying the way to get pay-per-view now is go to ppv.com or go to this. Stream it. I mean, even the pay-per-view companies are saying stream it because in demand's dead. But they've trained everyone to stream. They've trained everyone for a range of payment between $9.99 and, let's say 20-something. And now it's going to be more than that. I don't know if people are going to want the other content. According to this, ESPN will launch its new previously announced direct-to-consumer streaming service Thursday, August 21st. So they've moved it up, bringing the full suite of ESPN networks and services within an enhanced ESPN app with new personalized features and functionality direct to fans.
What the fuck does that mean?
This coincides with the start of college football and NFL seasons, U.S. Open tennis, international soccer, women's college soccer, volleyball, field hockey, and more. No disc golf, it doesn't say.
There is not one goddamn thing of those things that I would watch even if it was on free television.
And ESPN lost baseball. With the start of they gave up on baseball, however you want to put it. With the start of the WNBA playoffs, PLL playoffs, and NBA and NHL seasons, as well as the UFC and WWE events just around the corner. So, again, ESPN is banking on wrestling fans needing to see this content and being willing to pay $30 a month. Because you may not want to watch field hockey or volleyball or college athletics or any of these
Is
things.
there curling? Do they have curling?
I don't know. The Pat McAfee show, they have that.
No, that's swerving. I'm talking about curling.
So now WWE has I shouldn't say multi-billions, even though one of them I guess was, but these multi-year deals with both NBC, Netflix, because NBC owns USA Network and that's where SmackDown is, Netflix, and Disney with ESPN. So that's ABC Networks too. Again, they're trying to get every bit of it. I mean, this is all...
Well, now, wait a minute.
I'm not saying we can't enjoy it and it won't be good things, but this is the biggest money grab in wrestling history, and it'll probably continue for a good period of time, but it's...
What about Peacock? The poor old... The cock, the lonely spare cock at the wedding. There's a bunch of stuff on there. Is that transferring over to this ESPN thing? Or
Well, I see some reporting here from Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics. Some details that might not be elsewhere. The new deal does not include library rights. So, the archive, they won't have that. I don't know if that means all the archive or just not the pay-per-view archive, because if they're going to have all the pay-per-views, is it just, here's the current batch, or, typically you go to it used to be the network, now Peacock, and it's like WrestleMania, season 7, episode 1. WrestleMania, season 8, episode 1. I don't know how that's going to work, but they apparently do not have the catalog, which is now another thing WWE could try to sell to someone. And maybe it'll be Peacock. Hey, you lose the pay-per-views, but we'll give you the catalog. Who knows?
Okay, and again, I hate the streaming television. But even for people who like the streaming television, isn't that going to be a lot of time and effort and work and money to buy all of the streamings that would be needed to see all of the shit that they would have to spend time to figure out where it was and what it was on and when it was on and find it and watch it?
It's going to be a lot of work, and they're going to use ESPN to boost this. Brandon Thurston has here, ESPN will have pre and post premium live event shows, so the post-game show. That's why they got rid of the media scrum right before Brock Lesnar comes back and everything. They get rid of the media scrum. Which even their media scrums were kind of softballish, but every now and then a question got by. Also, Sports Center expected to be broadcast at some premium live event locations. So again, what that means is that they're going to use their cable channel to sell nonstop WWE pay-per-view events because they need people to buy those events and get their subscription. It's going to be over-the-top obnoxious.
You remember when
softball coverage. ESPN has always had softball coverage at WWE. This is now, there is not going to be any coverage. It's literally just going to be, repeating their press releases live on the air.
No, but I'm old enough, Sonny, to remember when there was a time where ESPN was like, wrestling? Why would we talk about wrestling? And then they ended up with Vern's show on Tuesday afternoons or whatever. And then all these years later, wrestling is the fucking linchpin of their organization.
It is a famous story in the ESPN oral history. Like, they had a meeting one day, and one of the executives says, and we have a chance to get this wrestling show, and we can have it on. We have whatever they're saying about it. And they have this person and that person, and they got Sergeant Slaughter. And one of the executives like, wait, they got Slaughter? And everyone stopped and looked at him. But yeah, ESPN for years had Vern Gagne's show, had Legends of World Class, had Global Wrestling Federation. I think those are the big three that were on ESPN. ESPN Classic.
But when they were, here's the thing: the World Class shows they aired were like fucking 3 years old. I was in Charlotte and been living there for a couple of years when I was on TV with the Midnight every afternoon. It was just they never understood how to run a wrestling show on a regular basis, brand new, that people wanted to see. But they could air those shows, but no actual healthy current modern promotion could get on it.
I was fascinated by those shows because it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. All the screaming fans, and then I'm like, is that Rick Rude with a smaller perm? And then that was the first time I saw Percy Pringle, and then I'm like, are they in a barn? Because I saw that sidewall. I was like, what is this? They look great. But ESPN in the WWE business big time. This is 1.6 times an increase over the Peacock deal, which again was $900 million. Again, what are your thoughts on WWE doing this, on the price tag? Do you think the price tag is too much?
Well,
even though you're willing to pay $50 a month, have they trained their general audience that that's too much monthly for wrestling pay-per-views?
I think you're going to naturally lose the least dedicated people or the least motivated people, or however you want to describe it. Well, here's another thing they want me to pay $30 a month for when they've been getting it for less. And that was my original problem with the WWE network. When they went from WrestleMania being a $50 pay-per-view to $9.99 a month, you get everything. I said, well, they've just devalued everything that anybody could do. Because if you're used to getting big shows for a really cheap price, and then anything substantial comes along, they get $5 a month, may not be bad, but but also it's just so much to keep track of. And especially the older viewers are already predisposed to not like this shit because it's phony compared to what they were used to. And now they say that, the streaming audience is primarily younger, so they're going for younger people, but they're going to lose a lot of older people in the process. And a lot of the older people is the ones that have some money. So it's just, I think, and the price tags that they're getting, it's just ridiculous amounts of money. And I don't even know why that anyone would think that anything is worth $1 billion over 5 years, except a cure for cancer. But otherwise, bless their little pea-picking hearts for getting all this money. But I'm glad that I am closer to the end of having to watch any of this stuff than I am the beginning, to paraphrase what they say sometimes these days. My career on watching wrestling is a whole lot closer to the end than it is the start, so I don't care what they do. But it's some goddamn complicated, expensive shit anymore.
Just a trip up the road to Bristol. Hopefully the Merritt Parkway is clear. You get up there nice and easy.
That's right, some kind of Connecticut mafia.
That's right.
ESPN,
I think
the worldwide leader in sexual harassment.
That's going to be a great partnership here. Seriously, the most obnoxious, unbearable programming. I hate ESPN's broadcast. I used to love them. It's just gone downhill.
That's the thing is, I have not watched anything related to an ESPN network or broadcast or anything in so many years. I don't know what's even on it. So I don't know what else they would have besides your brief description on this service. Occasionally I will see something because we have the Netflix now. If it's a documentary, I'll say, okay, it's right in front of me, but I could certainly do without it. I don't ever watch Peacock except for whatever they're doing with the WWE. I don't know. What's the other thing that somebody's on? We got something else.
AEW is on Max. Or
I think
HBO Max.
Stacy got the HBO Max, but I watch it on TBS the way that it's supposed to be done, or TNT, or whatever they're on. So don't have time to watch goddamn television, much less 18 million forms of television. All right. We wish them all well in their future endeavors, don't we, Brian?
Oh, I see here Nick Khan's announcing a new program for premium live events. If you're willing to pay double what someone else paid, you can kick them out of their seat and take their seat. It's the new pay double, live like a king program from WWE. Jesus. Everything's a money grab. And again, there may be stuff we really like, but it's over the top, from the commercials in the middle of the shows, from the commercials on the mat, the commercials on the tables. This ESPN stuff is going to be, again, there's never going to be serious coverage. Not like there has been. But boy, we'll see what happens. Lots of money in the wrestling business, as they say.
How do these people, Brian, how do they sleep at night?
Probably with a pillow.
No, I'm thinking that these people need propofol to sleep at night. Their consciences have got to be that guilty that they're just swindling and grifting and reaching in people's pockets. I don't know how they sleep at night. They wouldn't even be able to get a good night's sleep because of their guilty conscience if they were on a Helix mattress. That's how miserable these people are. But everybody else that doesn't have a guilty conscience, they can get a wonderful night's sleep on a Helix sleep mattress. Brian, have you ever, for example, been laying there thinking, holy mackerel, boy, the shit that I did today, somebody's going to find out about it there. I'm going to go to hell. No. I should be ashamed of myself. You probably get that feeling once or twice a week.
Only after we record.
Well, see there, once or twice a week. So what you need to do to wash that away from you is you need to get the Helix sleep mattress, because if you like to sleep on your side or your back, whatever position, they got a mattress for you. And if you sleep hot or cold at night, they got a mattress for you. So why shouldn't they have a mattress for you if you've got a guilty conscience? The special Guilty Conscience Helix Sleep Mattress, you lay down on that and instantly, it doesn't matter what you've done. I understand South American dictators sleep like babies on this thing. It's amazing. So go out and, as a matter of fact, commit some, if not crimes, at least sins against humanity. And then go to helixsleep.com and get one of these wonderful Guilty Conscience era mattresses, and you will sleep the sleep of the angels. But if you're just a regular person, they got stuff for you too. Brian, of course, we've talked about it many times. The Helix mattresses, they've got all natural ingredients. They don't have asbestos and sawdust and barbed wire in them like some of the other major mattress organizations. I understand there's been a big run on broken glass amongst the indie wrestler mattress companies.
Again, we can't speak to what they do. We can speak to what you can get from Helix. Great mattresses. None of these items that you would find at an indie wrestling show. Just great mattresses from Helix.
Yeah, a lot of indie wrestlers, when they end up flat of their backs in body casts, they switch to mattress manufacturing. You don't want that. Whether you got snoring or back pain or sleep apnea or have trouble sleeping through the night or just sweating like a hooker in St. Mark's Cathedral, you can find something to help you at helixsleep.com. And right now, Brian, there's a big holiday coming up. Labor Day, that's a day that nobody works. And you can get early access to the Labor Day sale. That's what they're calling it right now. The Labor Day sale early access, where there's 20% off site-wide, whatever mattress you want, whatever kind, whatever shape, whatever. Well, I don't really know. They come in different colors, but you know what I mean. They got different colored sheets. You can get those. But Labor Day, early access, and through August 14th, 20% off site-wide at helixsleep.com/JCE, helixsleep.com/JCE. It'll be delivered to your door. You pop it there onto your bed frame or other surface. Some people like to put them in a closet. I don't know why. We don't ask questions. I go along for a lot of the installations, Brian. Did you know that? A lot of times when they bring the Helix mattress.
No, that is absolutely not true. Ladies and gentlemen, a professional delivery, a professional mattress, a wonderful experience watching it unfurl right in front of you.
Yes, that's why it's a wonderful, the unfurling process is a wonderful thing to watch. That's why I go along every once in a while. And some people say, put it in the closet. And I go, why would you want the mattress in the closet? But then I see the unruly state of their children and I think, well, no wonder. But anyway.
Great match. Well, as we were saying, a great mattress. Yes. We love them here in my house. We all have them. You will love them too. Helix Sleep.
You made a massive stack of them and just put all your children against the wall and stacked the mattresses in front of them so you and Suzanne could go out for a night without having to get a babysitter one time, didn't you?
That isn't what we have ever done, ever, never. And we don't suggest anyone else do it. Use your mattresses for sleep. And before this goes too much further off the rails, Jim, what's that promo code with that wonderful deal for the listeners?
Yes, that's 20% off site-wide through August 14th if you go to helixsleep.com/JCE.